Okay, I'm going to do a quick, probably 5-minute presentation for you. I'll be in front of the group, so I obviously won't be you'll be seeing the slides behind me. And I want to start it off, I'm going to use a tactic where I'm a sales representative in front of a customer, kind of using the challenge a sale and the challenge a customer framework. So hi, I'm Mike Brooks with Yottaa. I'm going to spend about 5 to 6 minutes talking to you about who we are, what we do, and why it's important to you. But more importantly, I'm going to do this in a manner that will challenge you, and I hope you'll appreciate that. I don't want to be one of your vendors or one of your potential vendors that come in and just tell you what you already know and try to sell your product. I want to walk you through some things in the industry that really will hit home with you and try to help you change the game and give you a competitive advantage moving into 2016. A couple things I'm going to throw up here because it's really important for us to both know whether or not there's any value in our solution for your company. So what's the common theme here? You get two individuals, and it's fairly obvious, right? They're both in pain. So throughout the course of this 5 to 6 minutes, my job is going to be to either figure out if there's a pain that you may not know about. We could collaborate and talk about a pain you do know about, or, which is great news, figure out a pain that was there that is no longer there and you guys effectively solved it. And I can help validate that for you with my industry knowledge. I'm going to start you off, and on a side note, I'm going to pretty up these slides with a couple of pictures. I just haven't done it yet. I'm going to start you off with something that maybe you've heard about, maybe you read if you keep up with the Gartner Symposium. But the CEO and chairman of General Electric, Jeff Immelt, was very clear on where CIOs are or stand right now. And you can read as much as I can say to you. You're now totally at the front of the line in terms of what is important to your CEOs. That's very important, especially when you look at some of the application challenges you guys are facing, and we'll get into them in a little bit. And more importantly, he mentions that CEOs should remain scared in order to find ways to disrupt their own companies. And the obvious reason, because if they don't, someone else will either do it for them or do it to them. So it's important, based on what Jeff is telling you, to remain and keep that competitive edge. Keep thinking about new innovative ideas and always try to find a new mousetrap or a new way of doing things. We'll talk a lot about, over the remaining 4 to 5 minutes, about content delivery networks as well. Something that I know that you guys already have invested in, and something that we frankly have changed the game on, and something that you should really listen to on how to innovate and give yourself that competitive edge. So I'm going to start by having a general conversation with you about some of your mission critical applications in your environment right now, because you handle them each probably a little different. You probably class them based on importance, right? So your CRM or your enterprise resource planner might be classed a little bit higher than maybe human resource apps or payroll apps. Email is probably critical to certain users in your environment, and maybe high-level VPs and CEOs really care about email, but some people probably don't. Supply chain management probably extremely critical. So you have a common theme with the way you class these applications, and the common theme is around performance, reliability, security, predictability. And at the end of the day, it's because you're constantly trying to find a way to have competitive advantage with the scalability, nimbleness, and obviously speed and performance of these applications. So my general question to you, and again I talked about pain at the beginning of this, is where do you stack rank your web applications? Is it in the top tier 1, or do you have it down tier 3, tier 4, where it's really not that critical to you and you really do not need to have this die-in cure for performance, reliability, security, and predictability? That's my general question. If you're like most of our, couple dozen on this slide, and I could probably have 2 or 3 more slides with some of our newer customers, they stack rank the web applications in their environment pretty high. And we took them through this journey, a fairly nimble sales process, where we helped them become a customer by proving it out for them and showing them, business impact that ultimately led to, pretty fast decision on becoming a Yottaa customer. And a majority of these are referenceable, and probably would be pretty vocal about you becoming a Yottaa customer as well. Here's a couple of things they looked at. So how did they move the needle with their web application by going on Yottaa? couple SLAs that were pretty common with those couple dozen customers that I just showed on that screen. First byte time, time to start render, mostly displayed and mostly displayed and fully interactive. So the business metrics that obviously this helped with was bounce rate, abandonment rate, page views, time on site, goal completions. Right. So every single one of these became a huge advantage for them once they went on the Yottaa platform, and it's something that frankly just wasn't being solved with their current way of doing things. And as I mentioned before, the current way of doing things was using a content delivery network. CDNs, which have been around for a long time, purely solved the middle mile. They delivered data from point A to point B. And one thing that I'll really hit home on is how Yottaa extends the rest of the reach all the way through the last mile and into the user browser. And that's something that, as you care about your web application, and I can roll up the sleeves with any of your technical guys as well to really get to understand how we do it. But it's patent technology, been around for a couple of years, and we have some really advanced customers using it and reaping some serious business metrics out of it. So again, very important for me to mention to you that CDNs are not a standalone performance solution. They cannot do what Yottaa can do. Yottaa has a context intelligence platform that creates a feedback loop that can automatically transform HTML content to continuously optimize your content. This is a huge competitive advantage. We can look at geography, browser, user agent, and URL. No CDN can do anything close to what we can do. So Yottaa understands, scores, categorizes, optimizes web applications automatically. And this competitive advantage is ongoing granular acceleration and security, which maximizes end user experience and improves business outcomes. So I mentioned security quickly. It's something that we do pretty well, but we really try to sell you on performance. We want to sell you on the value of performance equals engagement equals impact. But security is something that customers have really taken to because of DDoS attacks and various ways of people across the globe trying to take down sites for one reason or the other. We can truly help you with that as well. CDNs do not understand applications. This is another thing I want to hit on. Yottaa has another patent in technology called app sequencing, which ultimately gives you complete control over which content is delivered and when and how it is displayed. Yottaa uses a rules engine, so it's like machine learning, which prioritizes and sequences the display in the client's web browser. So again, we live in the web browser. Content delivery networks don't. They were born purely for the middle mile, delivering data from point A to point B back when the internet was new, essentially, is when these content delivery networks really grew up. Yottaa was built to accelerate apps. So another thing I'll hit on is Yottaa's Instant On, another patent in technology. It essentially breaks the critical rendering path that delays content rendering. So both dynamic and static elements can be delivered about 40% faster. And again, we can proactively do an assessment for you, which is something I'll recommend, where we'll show you with things like Instant On, app sequencing, and context intelligence what it really will truly do for your web applications. We just need you to point us in the right direction. Platform agnostic, so you can accelerate and secure without having to worry about code change, worry about any major overhauls. And the last thing that I'll really point at is don't look at us as coming in and ripping technology out that you've been using 15, 20 years. Sure, we've done that. We have some of Akamai's largest customers have moved over to us already. But we can work with you to either figure out if we need to augment what you're currently doing, or do the economics work? Can we truly replace your CDN? So the one thing I'll ask of you is you'll see that today is obviously January 4th. Let us do that assessment for you. Let us get all the stakeholders in the room. The CIO, maybe the CMO, anybody that's heavily involved or has vested interest in that web application that you guys truly care about. And we'll deliver the assessment results with all of you and really show you how you can make it a complete game-changing competitive advantage for your company moving into 2016. How's next Tuesday at 2 or Thursday the 7th at 4? Thanks.